um, being. So first she doesn't give it to the father because it is secretly growing within her, the Agni, the divine will, the psychic being. And then when he is ready to be born, she becomes great, Mahishi, she becomes extended, she becomes queen. And then he comes to the front as the prince of this creation. Yeah? It's a very simple, very similar archetype you can find in all mythologies. Yeah, the father and the son and their relations. It's very close to Christian mythology, and it is very close to Egyptian mythology. Similar thing happened to Horus and Osiris. Osiris was destroyed by Typhon Set, and cut into 12 pieces and thrown in all different directions, symbolizing most probably the zodiacal oneness of the universe. And Isilda, his wife, Isis, she was moving from one place to another, collecting her husband. So basically this force, the nature of force, moves from bit to bit, from piece to piece of her own one being, collecting him within her consciousness. And when Horus was born, her son, he says, "Mother, you don't need to do this. Collect your husband, my father, because I am the rising sun. I am now here." So this is something very unique, because when Horus is born, the inner being is born in nature. It is he who represents the father now. And there is no need to move that old way, collecting all the bits and pieces in manifestation. They are all in one being, in the individual manifestation. So we have the same idea here. And we stopped at number 5, I think, or 4.
I don't know. I'm not sure if we really got to 3. I think we stopped at 2.
Okay.
It was very detailed discussion.
All right. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, we did 2, but we did not do 3.
Okay. Okay, the number 2 we did, yeah? Who is this boy whom thou bearest in thyself then when thou art compressed into form? But thy vastness gives him birth. Now, it's also a very profound question. There's compressing into form and vastness giving birth at the same time, so to say, intensifying the form and extensifying the appearance, the influence. For many seasons the child grew in the womb. I saw him born when the mother brought him forth. Hiranyadantam Shuchivarnam Arat. No, we did this. I remember. Kshetrad Apashyam. I saw him from the faraway plain. Ayodham Imanam, preparing the weapon. Dadanasman Amritam Viprikvat. Giving, I give to him the immortality in me, in all separate parts, one by one. Yeah. And what shall I do, or what shall they do to me who have not the word, who have not the word, and the God mind is not in them? They cannot do much to me, those for resisting forces. And then we have Kshetrada Pashyam. I saw him from the field, Sanotashcharantam, constantly or continuously moving, Sumad, Yuthamna Purushobhamanam, in many forms of luminous beauty. Nata ab Garibharan Ajanishtahi Shah. None could seize on them, on those shining forms of his beauty, on those cows or rays of light beams. For he was born, Ajanishta Hishach. Even they that were old among them grew young once more. And this we also read, yeah? Paliknich id yuvatayo bhavanti. Keme Mariakam vi yavanta gobhich. And here we stopped.
Oh.
Who were they that divorced my strength from the herds of light? Against them there was no protector, nor any worker in this war. Nayesham Gopa Aranashchidasa. Let those who took them from me, ye im jagribhu, avates rejanto, release them to me again. For he with his conscious perceptions comes driving to us. Ajati Pashva Upanashchikitvan, our lost herds of the radiances, driving to us our lost herds of the radiances. And here there was the next one, which we stopped, and I just mentioned it in passing. Vasam Rajanam, Vasatim Jananam. The king of those who dwell in creatures. The king of those who dwell in creatures. He in whom all creatures dwell is hidden within mortals by hostile powers. Let the soul thoughts of the eater of things release him. Let the confiners be themselves confined. Brahmani atrich avatam srijantu, nindi taro nindiyaso bhavantu.
Question.
Yes.
You use the word eater.
Yes. Atri. Atri, these are the hymns of Atri family. Atri from root ad, to eat, to consume. These are the powers of Agni. They eat.
It's eater for eating, not eater. No, okay, it's different written, sorry.
Yes, it's eater. Eater, the one who consumes, eats, digests. Let the soul thoughts of the eater, because the eater, the enjoyer here is only one, yeah? And that is the Supreme. The Supreme consumes everything here, enjoys everything. We do not know it yet. We think that we are the eaters, but we are not actually. It is he who eats everything. He consumes, because he is himself a consumer and consumed. He consumes himself. This concept of the eater and eaten is the food, is going throughout. Upanishads are picking up on it again. If you remember, Taittiriya, sorry, at the end of its text speaks about the eater extensively. Yeah? The revelation of the Rishi was, I am food. I am food, I am food. Ahamannam, ahamannam, ahamannam. Ahamannado, I am the eater of food. Ahamannado, ahamannado. Ahamannada, I am the eater of food, I am the eater of food. So I am food, I am food, I am food, I am the eater of food, I am the eater of food, I am the eater of food. Ahanga shloka krit, I am the creator of the word. I create the word, I create the word. Ahamasmi prathamajaridasya. I am born first of the gods. Purvam devebhi Yeah. So I am born first of the gods in the center of immortality, in the nabhi of immortality. Yoma dadati saideva vaha, who gives me, he is nourishing me. Who sacrifices me, he is increasing me, literally. Ahamanna manna madantamadmi, I am food, and the eater of food I eat. So this consuming is the major concept of all processes of transformation here. We are the consumers who are being consumed. This constant consummation going on. Consummation, I changed it from consuming. It looks to us very severe from the mental point of view of separated consciousness, that someone eats someone, that this world is so far from justice, that some can be consumed by others. But it is non-stop going on. And there is the law of preservation of energy, which tells us that actually nothing is being destroyed in energetic terms. So the energy flows from one form to another, and from one form to another, and never being exhausted. So this is the process in which, in time and space, the divine is looking for its own form and finding its form, and supports the rest. That's why nature is self-sufficient ecologically. It can create ecological environments or sufficient environments in which everything can grow and develop, which is absolutely unique. If you think for a second, nothing is wasted, everything is used. Incredible, no? What a wisdom. We never thought of this wisdom, how nature arranged everything. So the greenery supports the animals support other animals. There is the holistic environment in which everything consumes everything and lives and grows by it. So this is the eater. Who is the eater in all of it? There is one eater who eats all of it. He is looking for his form. He is looking for his many forms. And he doesn't mind to be eaten, and doesn't mind to eat others. So since you asked who is the eater and how this eater can be really the divine, there is also eater which is considered to be evil force. You know? They are also eaters. They are also atris, quite interesting. So to say, the demons, rakshasas, are also called atris. Yeah? They are eaters, devourers. They devour. In the same way as the divine eater is devouring. Yeah? But they have different thing in mind. They want to sustain themselves. They want to survive. They want to become stronger on the basis of others. Whereas this eater, he is a bit different. He is looking for the better form. So he does the same way. He eats others and being eaten by others. I do not know. Maybe I was carried away somewhere far away into the direction from which there is no return. Yeah, very difficult to explain these things to ourselves. But the very topic already gives us some scope for thinking. So Vasam Rajanam, the king, of the living ones, of those who dwell here, of the dwellers. He is the king. Vasatim Jananam, and he is the dwelling of those who are born in the body. So we all dwell within him, and he dwells as the king in all the dwellings. So he is consuming from within and from without.
Now, I was thinking of this in light of of course, we have this process right now, which they refer to as global warming, and which is terrible. But of course, it is not just, the thought that, for instance, the Arctic ice cap or the Great Barrier Reef may disappear as a system, a natural system, and yet there will be something replaces it that's living. It's not as if it becomes dead. Okay, they take different forms. Maybe not human ones.
Yeah. Who knows what will happen? And are you sure that it will be just totally melted, or maybe there will be, that ice period afterwards? After global warming, usually there is a very strong cold coming, which is covering with the ice cap half of a planet or something.
Well, not that, of course, I am not the expert on this. I listen to others, but I would say, well, we don't, we're in uncharted territory, as they say. As they would say, when the explorers would go someplace that they have not been before, that they have no map, and yet, people did that, and we are all doing it now for climate.
Yeah, but there was ice period 10,000 years back, which was melting down. That ice period was caused by something. They say that every time when there is this global warming, it does not depend on us much, as they say nowadays. That these are the cycles in the life of the Earth, or some to say. So it comes to that higher temperature, and then it goes, and the response is that it will be very strong cold, shifting, and then we will have this ice period, which we are coming out of only 12,000 years back. That Stone Age, so-called, was caused by this ice period when the ice cap was covering half of a planet. We know it. It's geologically proven that the ice moved out slowly. So we get warmer, 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 and warmer.
But
and
whatever that is that will happen, there will be the
consequences.
There will be continuing. The continuing process of life, of Agni finding himself.
Right. Maybe it's time to create. We are so far away from the truth, God knows. But Mother says that there will be no pralaya this time. There will be no destruction of forms. There will be a smooth transition between.
Vladimir, I'm sitting and thinking about the soul thoughts. That the soul thoughts of the ether, the lysim. So the soul's thoughts,
Brahmani.
what are they?
Brahmani are actually, that's what Sri Aurobindo translates. Brahmani are those.
It disappeared.
Yeah.
I lost the sound.
Hello? Did you lose my sound? Yeah? No? You have a little static there, see, like something, some connection is making some noise. Can you hear me?
I have no sound, Vladimir.
That's yours. You click. Because you hear me, yes, Lynn? Can you hear me, Lynn? Hello? Can you hear me? No? No sound? Lynn? Ah, I have sound. Crazy. And now do you have sound? And now do you have sound?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh, it's weird. Now?
Yes.
yes.
Very weird, because I had sound. It was showing that I had, but you didn't hear me. You have
Yeah, it
some...
was something strange. It was something strange when we started. Lynn was jumping around on my screen also.
You have some static, see, like
Yeah.
this clicking.
Yeah, I know. Lynn is saying this also. Now she's jumping around. When I make big picture of Lynn, she's jumping around like she's projected into the screen. It's a small picture of her behind the red recording dot, and then she jumps in. Small, bigger, and she jumps back and forth like this.
Oh. So maybe it's not our fault. Maybe it's something with software. Anyhow, yeah, where were we? So, yes,
Well, we were.
Brahmani, these thoughts of Atri. Brahmani are these Brahmanas, Brahmins or Brahmanas, the hymns coming from the heart. Yeah, this Brahmanaspati is the lord of these words, the divine words. So these are the soul thoughts, mantras or Brahmans. That the soul thoughts of the ether of things release him. Avatam srijanto. Whom tam, this king within the beings, within the dwellers. He has to be released with the help of Brahmanas, of these hymns, the Vedic hymns, the words. Let the confiners be themselves confined, and Nindi Tarach, those who create Nind. There are two words in Sanskrit roots, Nind to hate or to confine, and Nand to love. And from here, Ananda, Nandati, Nandati, and Nindate. Nindate is to hate. So Ninditarach, those who are haters, Nindiyasach bhavanto, they should be hated, or the confiners should be confined. What it means, by whom hated? By themselves, basically. May their own energy, so to say, work with them. As they project it, should stay with them, should not be projected onto the world. By the way, somebody asked the mothers the same question about Maheshwari. Maheshwari is the goddess of vastness. But if somebody is doing something against the divine, she is not punishing the person or blocking or doing something to it, only imposing on him his own hostility. She is kind of protecting the divine from this hostility in such a way that when this hostility and nindid are coming, they are confined by their own, within their own hate. It doesn't go out. It stays with them and becomes their own consequence. In the occultism, it is a well-known thing. It is said that those who pray for their enemies are protected from them. If you pray for your enemies, you will never be hit by them. But if you fight with them, they get strength and they become stronger and then they hit you. If you try to protect yourself some way, no, you have to wish them the best. And then you are totally protected. Their hate will not hit you, will not reach to you. Mid mortal man, godless, have secreted the king of all who live, whom of the people, so may the prayer of Atri give him freedom. Reproached in turn be those who now reproach him. So those who hate him, the divine within us, should be themselves hated. I just thought for a second that Atri, and we spoke so much on this, Atri, the eater, but Aditi is also from root ad, to eat. It's not Aditi, it's not infinite consciousness, which is not a division, which is understood in later Sanskrit as Aditi, Diti and Aditi, not dividing, so to say, unifying consciousness force. But in Sri Aurobindo's comments, we find that actually it's not the same root. It's not Diti, Aditi. It's root ad, to consume, to eat. Aditi is actually the one who consumes everything, who transforms everything, who changes as the energy flows from one form to another. And for the energy to flow from one form to another in time, and time is the biggest consumer, the time consumes everything. It is in time that we change constantly, every day. It is her major force, Shakti. Sri Aurobindo says, Kala is Shakti. The time is the Divine Mother. And this is quite interesting to think of, that she is Aditi, the consumer. She is the major change of forms. What a shift we get, yes, from the consuming. We are against consumerism and in the world. And now we get this new idea of consumer as the changer of forms and transmitter of energy. Energy gets better and better forms in the evolution of species. We get better and better bodies, mind, and vital, and so on. We evolve. And this evolution is possible because of Atri, because of the consumer within us. And Agni is Atri. Agni is the one who burns everything and changes the form, burns everything to ashes and releases energy, which now can be embodied again into another form. So if we look at it with these two together, so who are those forces that divorced my strength from the herds of light, who disconnected power and consciousness? Against them there was no protector. Nobody could be protected against them. There no any worker in this war. Nobody could fight with them. Let those who took them from me release them to me again. For he with his conscious perceptions comes driving to us our lost herds of radiances. The consumer, the one who eats, the eater, is born within us. With his radiances he comes. So you can see that Agni is the eater. He is the one who transforms one form to another. He is the king living in all dwelling beings here, and all those who came here to dwell, to live in this world, And he is the dwelling place for all those who are born here in the body. So he is the fire without and fire within. He is hidden. They established him within the mortals. Nidadhuch marti Yeshu. And who are they? These Aratayach. Aratayach are these anti-divine forces or enemies, hostile powers. Arati, hostile, envious, adversary, powers of adversary, powers of darkness, powers which are not giving. Rati is giving, and Arati is not giving, not sacrificing, not giving anything from oneself, not changing, trying to keep everything to oneself. And may the hymns of Atri, of the Eater, hymns of the Eater, release him, the dweller within. So the hymns of the divine should release the divine within. And those who confine him should be confined by themselves. Those who resist this process should be resisted by those very powers. Shunachchit chepam niditam sahasrat yupad amunchach ashamishta hishach evasmad agne vimumugdhi pashan hotashchikitva ihatu nishadya. Now Shunakshepa is mentioned here. It's a rishi. Shunachchit Shepam. And Shunakshepa too, head of delight, was bound to this thousandfold post of the sacrifice. Him thou didst release. Yea, he accomplished perfection by his works. So do thou take thy seat here in us, O conscious seeing flame, O priest of our sacrifice, and loose from us the cords of our bondage.
What does the post mean? Thousandfold post?
Of the sacrifice, yes.
What is it? Post?
There are posts on, these are the stambas, and the pillars, which are established to which the sacrificial animal is tied. Yeah? It's a part of the ritual in a way. So, thousandfold post is something one cannot even imagine what it is. Yeah? That means it's not one post that you are tied to. There are thousandfold. So there are thousands of posts to which we are tied for the sacrificial work. So,
Is it connected to the cords?
yes, the cords, the strings are connected to the post and to the person. They are not allowing person to move. Yeah? So he is bound for the sacrifice. Then they come and kill him. So he cannot run or something. He is tied to this 1,000-fold post. But Agni has released him, made him free. Him thou didst release. He accomplished perfection by his works. He, the Shunakshepa Rishi, he accomplished perfection by his works. So do thou take thy seat here in us. So you, Agni, do the same with us. Take your seat in us as a leader, as a Purohita, as a Ritvik, or conscious seeing flame, or priest of our sacrifice, and lose from us the cause of our bondage. Make us free from the nature's sacrifice, from what nature does to us. Yeah? So make us free, free us by coming to the front, make us totally separated, separate Purusha, unborn self, from Prakriti. Liberate within us your divine power, that we will not be a consequence to the nature's force. So in the nature we have this 1,000-fold post, or thousands of posts which are holding us, which are making us her victim. We are the victims of nature, as it were. And Agni can liberate us from that.
I'm thinking about Agni. He frees us from the bonds of nature, which has imposed, so to say, itself upon us and is upheld by these darker forces fighting for the place in us. But he comes in front. He's Jiv Atman in the back, and he becomes Agni when he comes in front. Can you explain that?
Well, when he's in front, when he's born, then he becomes the Lord. He is a leader of our journey. When he is still within the mother, within her womb, she is not releasing him to her father. She is not showing him, not giving him too soon until he is ready in consciousness. So he has to grow in this evolution of consciousness. He has to become strong. He has to become wanted, needed for our evolution. If you take lower nature animals, they don't need Agni to be born. Human beings started to need him. They have the mental capacity. And with that capacity, the need for the inner being to be born is activated.
You say that he's not but he's in the back. He's in her womb, but they call him Agni. But I understood that he is Jivatman in that position. What does that really mean?
Jivatman is unborn self. I don't think he is unborn self in that. Well, one maybe he is unborn self after all in that position. Unborn self means not born ever. Yeah? Never was born and never will be born. Unborn means something which never comes to. Agni is involved. That Jivatma is never involved.
But if he is born, then is he separated from, because he is kind of in docking station with the unborn. Then he comes out of the docking station. And the docking station is the unborn, which is releasing him. Well, the womb is the docking station.
unborn self in this Jivatma, in this maybe in this symbolism, is the Father, the being which is always beyond, which is always above the head, which is never involved, the witness, Purusha. And once the son, the Agni, is born, it is psychic. It's a projection of that unborn self. He's
Yeah,
born.
that's what I mean. He's born out of this eternal unborn, because he is the eternal unborn. It could only be a projection. It can only, that's why I call it he's in docking station, and then he comes forth of that docking station with the Violex connection.
They are, and the description is given in Savitri when the psychic is born. It wants to identify itself with the unborn self, with the transcendental. And this this connection of the psychic and the unborn self is altogether a new stage in the evolution. If this identity will take place, if the unborn self will become a born self and stay unborn in time and space, that means that the whole process of evolution changes dramatically. And that means that the divine consciousness is totally revealed, and nature stops becoming a nature which opposes the divine. It becomes his Shakti, and he becomes Ishvara, the Lord of nature. So there is no more difference between him and her. And that means the unborn self, the transcendental, unborn divine, becomes, reveals himself in this manifestation, in time and space, totally, and takes into his hands the whole nature. She is no more resisting. She is totally consciously only him, whatever he wants.
I would say that as I'm reading this passage and listening to you, what comes to mind is that in the Great Plains in the United States, among the native tribes, there is a religious ceremony called the sun sacrifice, and in which at this the young man who's seeking liberation or the advancement, you might say, to that divine state, is attached to posts with they put a rope and they put pieces. They pierce his flesh, and so it's a painful ordeal, but it really is about this process of Agni, and of course the young men who are doing this are it's a very difficult to be a Native American man. There's so many obstacles, and those who go through the sacrifice gain a great deal from it, as far as that connection with the divine, which for the good of themselves, but the good of the people as well. And it's and this is what is public about it. There are probably additional things which are hidden within the tribe, you might say. But it's a very but it is so similar, and of course it's to me, I get the feeling that there is, beyond the recent history in India, that there is a connection from the Siberian days.
Yeah, these are ancient sacrifices, initiation of the young spirit into the pain and discomforts. He has to be not, because children are afraid of these things, that they have to overcome these fears. and then they become grown-ups.
Yeah.
So all these rituals, there are many of them of different kind, really symbolize that freedom from the bondage to these thousandfold pillars, of nature in some way or another. But real freedom from all of them, from all these infinite boundaries in nature. Look at us. We are bound everywhere, wherever we go, wherever we look, whatever we think. There are boundaries and boundaries. We are bound by everything, by everyone. We are not free. We cannot freely flow. There is no free society. There is no free, nothing is free. Even this matter, how it works, it is all the time obstacles which we have to overcome. And these are thousandfold bondages, which we are carrying. We are tied to those thousand pillars as the sacrificial animal here. We are bleeding on the altar of the sacrifice, feeding the nature with our energy, becoming the creator of her own doings. We are the material for her. But how to become free? We need the divine will. The divine will can free us from those.
Soul thoughts. I found that interesting. We have human thoughts, we have soul thoughts.
Good point.
Yes, it depends whom are you identified with. If you're considering yourself to be the divine, living here in this world for the sake of the sacrifice, then you will be trying to become the divine more and more. If you are identifying with nature and with the processes of nature, you will try to make those processes more and more suitable for you. So, but both are going on simultaneously.
I'm seeing a lot of strange things on the internet, and there are some believers that thinks that we are living on different levels of consciousness at the same time, as a projection into the higher and higher levels of consciousness. If we think this way, if Agni is a projection from the Father, becoming the Father and identifying with the mother, so to say, become his wife, as it is described. I'm also thinking that, okay, we have human thoughts, and from them we extract divine thoughts. Or divine thoughts are coming to us from the illumination with Indra. So in a way, I start to also see the possibility of this living on different levels of consciousness at the same time. Is that, how do you see it?
Yeah, I would say in my way that we are using the human language because our outer consciousness is built out of that human stuff and culture and language and relations. So to explain it to our outer consciousness, we must use the language and symbols of the outer being, explaining something to, or bridging the inner and the outer. If outer does not understand what is happening within, it will not bridge it. It will not bring it to full awareness. So our purpose is to become aware more and more on the surface what we have within. That within tries to come to the surface, and we are looking for the language. So the rishis found the language, which is very effective. It is used with symbols of the outer being, but it relates to our inner processes in such a way that it becomes tangible to us. We can bridge it, and we can feel it. We can, within our mind, within our feelings, vital, and even within the body, we can feel the presence of that force. Mm.
So in a way, the transformation of the vital and the body, we transform the mind by going, so to say, to another level of consciousness in our mind, but the body is still here in this physical manifestation until it's transformed. So we are stretched in the beginning into higher, dragging this gross body with us, and it will be transformed. It will be illumined and it will change form. But it's not instantaneous. It takes time.
Of course. And it has to be developed. Moreover, there is no body without the mind and vital. Body, vital, and mind is the triple one being. Without body, there would be no mind or vital. Without mind, there will be no body and vital. Without vital, there will be none of these. So they are the enterprise of one undertaking of the spirit. So we think of the body as something separate from the mind. It is not, and it cannot be. Body is the mind and vital.
It's another form of the same consciousness, no?
Yes, it is more individualized, it is more diversified. It's totally diverse form of the mind. So if mind would not be there, there would be no such thing. So we are bound thousandfold on all the levels of the mind, vital, and body. We are bound everywhere in infinity way, because nature possesses our mind, vital, and body. Now to become free from these cords, here it is said that thousandfold, but in another place it is spoken about triple cord, and Sri Aurobindo makes comment that it is mind, vital, and body. These are our cords which are tying us to the sacrifice of which nature performs. Nature is our sacrificial process in which all the forms are consumed and changed, and she is Aditi. She is the force of this consuming, of this eating, a flow of energy changing forms. For the first time I saw this Aditi in total understanding to Atri, because before I always knew about it, but never could totally see it, that Aditi is this Shakti which makes everything move and evolve, forms change, and energy sustained. Energy is being sustained while forms are changing. It is she, the Divine Mother, who makes this universe. If we will see it for real once, we will never be afraid of this world again. Okay, we can stop here, yes, today. Again, we didn't go very far. I want next time I will tell you the myth about Shunakshepa, who is Shunakshepa and what happened to him. It's a Vedic myth, which would be interesting to look into. Okay, I'm closing with the mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.
Thank you. See you.
Thank you.